Karoline Leavitt is back, and she's not holding anything back. From shutting down a smug French politician who quickly realized he was out of his depth, to leaving Jeff Bezos visibly uncomfortable, every moment is a must-see. This isn't just sharp commentary, it's a display of pure confidence and control. Trust us, you won't want to miss a single second. Get ready, because what you're about to see is truly unforgettable.
There is now a member of the European Parliament from France who does not think the U.S. represents the values of the Statue of Liberty anymore. They want the Statue of Liberty back. So is President Trump going to send the Statue of Liberty back to France?
Absolutely not. And my advice to that unnamed low-level French politician would be to remind them that it's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German right now. So they should be very grateful to our great country.
This one's both funny and a bit ironic. A French politician is demanding the return of the Statue of Liberty, somehow forgetting an important fact. It was a gift from the French people to the US. And here's where it gets even more ridiculous. His party only represents about 14% of French voters, according to the latest EU Parliament elections. So technically, he's not even speaking for the majority who gave that gift in the first place. And the twist? He's from a left-wing party, making a bold claim about liberty, as if that political side still owns the idea of freedom on the world stage. You really couldn't script this kind of contradiction.
For President Biden, he's set to deliver his first major speech since leaving office tonight. I wanted to get the president's response, or if he plans to respond to this, and comments on what Democrats are calling cuts to Social Security.
My first reaction when seeing former President Biden was speaking tonight was, I'm shocked that he is speaking at nighttime. I thought his bedtime was much earlier than his speech tonight. I understand the topic of his speech will be Social Security. Let me make it very clear ahead of former President Biden's remarks. President Trump, is absolutely certain about protecting Social Security benefits for law-abiding, tax-paying American citizens and seniors who have paid into this program.
I still don't understand why President Biden thought giving that speech was a good idea. Public speaking hasn't been his strong suit during his time in office, and this latest attempt just made that more obvious. From the moment he stepped up to the podium, it was hard to watch. Unfinished sentences, drifting off topic, and leaving the audience confused about what he was even trying to say. It wasn't just awkward, it was uncomfortable. Then came Karoline Leavitt. While Biden struggled with his notes, Karoline was out there making headlines. Her sharp responses to Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz were tough, clear, and right on point. She didn't just criticize their comments, she broke down their arguments with confidence and focus. The contrast couldn't have been clearer. Moments like this show exactly why Karoline is rising fast, and why others are struggling to keep up.
Governor Walz saying last night he frequently checks Tesla stock, in doing so to, quote, give me a little boost during the day. How should Americans view politicians who take pride in the downfall of an American car company?
I think that's quite sad, but I think Governor Walz unfortunately is living a sad existence after his devastating defeat on November 5th.
Honestly, when your political opponents are folks like Tim Walz and Kamala Harris, the smartest move isn't to argue. It's to simply hand them a microphone and step aside. No rebuttal required. Every time they speak, they somehow manage to do what entire campaigns struggle to achieve. They expose their own lack of clarity and competence right there on stage. Whether it's Kamala's now infamous word salads, or Walz's baffling takes that sound like they're from a parallel universe, you don't need clever strategy or spin. All you need is patience. Let them talk. Let the public see and hear for themselves. The confusion speaks louder than any counterpoint ever could. It's like watching a slow-motion collapse. Painful, yet oddly effective. And the best part, you don't have to lift a finger. Just sit back and let the mic do all the heavy lifting.
Well, I think it was a great reminder to the American people of just how blessed we all are that the leader sitting in the Oval Office today is President Donald Trump and not President Kamala Harris.
Just to add on the Kamala Harris point, I think I speak for everyone at the White House. We encourage Kamala Harris to continue going out and do speaking engagements.
Oh, and quick reminder, I notice some of you haven't liked or subscribed yet. Go ahead and hit those buttons. It seriously helps the channel, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's talk Tim Walz. Remember when the media was hyping him like he was the next big thing? That whole town hall tour was getting non-stop praise. But just a few months later, total silence. After a string of awkward moments and weak performances, the same media that boosted him just dipped. It's like they realized he wasn't the guy they sold us. Meanwhile, in the UK, Winston Marshall is calling out the attacks on free speech, and it's making waves. When musicians sound more honest than politicians, something's seriously off. Stick around. Between the political slip-ups and rising backlash, we're just getting started.
In Britain, we have had over a quarter of a million people issued non-crime hate incidents. As we speak, there are people in prison for quite literally reposting memes. Would the Trump administration consider political asylum for British citizens in such a situation?
Well, to your latter question, it's a very good one. I have not heard that proposed to the president, nor have I spoken to him about that idea, but I certainly can and talk to our national security team and see if it's something the administration would entertain.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. This wasn't just a random moment. It happened during a White House press briefing set up specifically for new media outlets. That's why you probably noticed some unfamiliar faces in the press pool. Gone were the legacy media types tossing softballs and nodding along, and get this, the topic wasn't even new. It was an issue that had been brewing for months. Everyone knew about it, but mainstream media ignored it, pretending it wasn't worth their airtime. Then one outsider finally asked the hard question, and boom, it got traction. That one moment says it all. Legacy media isn't about truth, it's about narrative control. If a story doesn't fit their script, it's buried. That's why these new voices matter. Because sometimes it takes just one outsider to break the silence and remind us what real journalism looks like.
To your first question about free speech in the United Kingdom, the Vice President has been incredibly outspoken about this for good reason. And the President has spoken about this as well directly with your Prime Minister when he was here for a visit to the White House. So it remains a critical endeavor of ours to show the Brits and your country, which we love and admire, about the First Amendment and the importance of free speech in a sovereign nation.
Jeff Bezos didn't walk away unscathed either. Karoline gave him a public scolding that was absolutely brutal. The way she called him out, pure gold.
This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
Now here's the part no one's talking about, but it's a low-key game changer. This move is actually helping Amazon users figure out which products are made outside the US, which means American-made items are getting a quiet boost. No sales pitch needed. Pretty smart, right? Now imagine if this happened under Trump. The media would have gone nuts. We'd see non-stop headlines like Trump's trade war destroys families or economic collapse incoming. That's why this hit so different. Karoline didn't just answer a tough question. She flipped it on its head. Cool, sharp, and zero panic. She put Bezos in his place without breaking a sweat. And then it gets even wilder. MSNBC's Joy Reid 2.0 just got exposed again for straight-up racism. And yep, it happened during another new media White House briefing. Turns out, when legacy media steps aside, the truth hits a little too hard. So yeah, stick around. It only gets better from here.
It is racist what she is saying. The president intends on deporting illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's laws and are not only impacting communities across the country, but in particular communities of color in our inner cities. You remember the story out of New York City where young minority children were kicked out of their public school to make room for illegal immigrants to sleep on the floor of their cafeteria. That is putting America last. Doesn't matter your race, your religion, or creed. If you are a law-abiding American citizen, President Trump is going to put you first. And shame on Simone Sanders for saying that.
I've got to say, I just don't get why MSNBC thought this was a smart move. They fired Joy Reid to dial down the drama after years of over-the-top divisive commentary, then turned around and handed the mic to Simone Sanders. It's like swapping one outrage machine for another and expecting a totally different result. If they wanted to rebuild trust or reach a wider audience, this wasn't just a miss, it's a strikeout with the bat still in their hands. Instead of changing the game, they just repackaged the same hyper-partisan energy with a new face. And viewers, they see right through it. It's not about honest dialogue or balanced reporting, just the same noise, dressed up as fresh. But hey, that's just my take. What do you think? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. And if you're loving these takedowns as much as I am, share this video with a friend or two. It really helps get the word out. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.